Hello and welcome for another video. I don't know what order my videos are going to be processed. So I don't know. I'm recording my favorites after this one, and here I am. Monthly favorites, yeah. So I'm going to start with this one because it was just on my mind that I wanted to talk about. And hair in my ear, my God. Well, of course, long hair. Yeah, let's get started. So, the subject of past life readings, past lives readings, has shown up quite a bit for me on YouTube videos that I've been watching. So much, and it was interesting for me to suddenly pay attention to watching people's videos where they're talking about past life readings. Not specifically their past life readings, but reading past lives. One is Maria, Lady Knight. She, I think I watched some of her videos where she's talking about that I think this year is when she's delving into past lives and doing past lives readings for herself. I'm not sure if she also said for other people, but I'm pretty sure she said for herself. And it got me thinking. Now, about 20-something years ago, I read a book by Ted Andrews called How to Uncover Your Past Lives. I'm almost certain that's the title. I'm not sure if I have it on my bookshelf or if I've long since given away the hard copy and just have it on my Nook or Kindle. Probably on my Nook. Like, not long ago. Anyway. Scusi, morning coffee. So, and that book it's a little paperback book. I'm pretty sure it's still in print. It has some what appear to be very simple exercises that pack a punch. They are absolutely valid exercises. I've done past life regression with other people, not just myself. I've done past life regression with other people with those techniques that yielded astounding and incredible results. And I thought, oh, okay, interesting. Also, I've done past life investigation kind of readings with people, or did like a checkup with cards to glean more information about these past lives. And at the time, my main tarot deck was my Morgan Greer, and this is what I used to do past life readings. If you're watching my videos, you've seen a Morgan Greer. You may have not. If you haven't seen me show my Morgan Greer, you probably have never seen one this beat up. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you've seen a Morgan Greer. It's a highly popular deck. 1970s art style. And it's Rider-Waite. It's a Rider-Waite. I think they call it a clone. I'm not quite sure on the terminology, but it's the imagery is taken straight from Rider-Waite, but in this artist's style and close up. So you have the close up, right? And I will end on this card. So I would just use my Morgan Greer to further the whole past life regression and investigation kind of experience. So the other day, I'm watching people's videos on YouTube. A number of YouTubers talking about past lives. One was Patsy at Mystical Musings by Patsy. If I can say one thing, I love the opening. She has this wonderful channel opening. Now, I'm sorry if you have a channel and you have an opening. I usually skip them. I don't like openings. I do the same thing with TV shows, like if they're recorded on the PVR. So don't be hurt. But I watch hers. I think the the piano music and the imagery is just, I don't know, it's I love it. It's also totally her vibe. It's not out, you know what I mean? It totally is her vibe. And it sets, it just sets you up for then spending time with her. It's beautiful. All right, that's enough. That's not what we're talking about. Patsy brought up past life readings, and she showed a deck that I'm not familiar with, so I can't even tell you which one it is that she just received for past life readings. And Lady Night has featured the Art History Tarot for past lives. So after thinking about it for quite some time, when I first learned about the Art History Tarot for past lives was last summer, and I kind of sat on it, just thinking, I don't know if it's something that I would use. I watched a flip through and decided that I might enjoy the art. It turned out that I'm looking at the images going, oh, I think I might enjoy this as an art deck. And I'm willing to give it a whirl as for a past life reading and see what results I get with that versus my method, which is the techniques from Ted Andrews, How to Uncover Your Past Lives, and just using a regular tarot deck, which for me historically has always been my Morgan Greer. Now, while I was thinking about recording this video, forgot. Oh God, you again? Jesus. Anyway, I left the card out. Ten of Swords. Quando mai, like we say in Italian. When never. Anyway. Where was I? Oh. So I started thinking, what would I use? Like, what do I have already in my tarot collection? Because, like I said a little while back, it's a collection now. Like, when you have like 30-something tarot decks and probably, well, for sure as many, maybe even more oracle decks, that's a collection. A couple of shelves worth. Anyway, so I thought, what is already in my collection that I think would work really well for past life readings? So let's go back to the Art History Tarot for Past Lives. I had gone onto Amazon, and the book was available on Amazon Canada. So I had placed that order, the book and the workbook, because that's all that was available, but the deck wasn't. And it sat in my orders, like not shipped, for quite some time because it's a pandemic, right? I had gone to Etsy. I went to the creator's Etsy store and put myself on the email list to be notified when she reopens her store. Well, she reopened her store this past week, so I canceled those Amazon orders that hadn't shipped yet for the guidebook and the workbook. I'm not even really a workbook person, so, and ordered directly from the creator the tarot deck, the Art History Tarot for Past Lives. Art History Tarot for Past Lives. I think that's what it's called. Oh my God! I hope I'm not butchering it. And the guidebook, and with the beautiful velvet bag that it comes in with the orchid embroidery. So I'm looking forward to receiving that. But in the meantime, because I wanted to talk about how I've been doing past life readings forever, just with a regular tarot deck, occasionally an oracle deck. I just wanted to show some decks that today when I was pondering the whole past life reading exercise, I looked at my tarot and oracle shelf and thought, I think I understand. Like, there's my aesthetic that loves nature and animal decks and earth-centered nature, animal decks. Then there's that part of me, that aesthetic that I love of the theme. Another theme in my tarot and oracle collection is Fae energy, and then I noticed I have a bit of a historical thing going on too. So I'm just going to pause for a second, and to you it's going to be like I wasn't gone at all. But I'm going to pause because there's a deck that I forgot that I want to go grab. See you in a sec. And I'm back. Okay, so I'm waiting on my art history tarot for past lives. And I went to get an oracle deck that I forgot on my shelf that I wanted to share. And also, I'm going to mention a couple that are on my wish list. There's a couple that are on my wish list because they're not available to me. It's like they wouldn't be on my wish list. They would be in my hot little hands if I could get my hot little hands on them, but I can't for various reasons. There's always the shipping issue, the shipping to Canada issue, people. So I've had this. I'll mention the two that I don't have because I can't show them to you. So I've had two decks on my wish list that I cannot obtain, and sorry, I feel like I have, like, when you feel like you have a hair just sitting on your forehead. Sorry, and I'm sorry it's taking me a while to get to the point, and I'm meandering a little bit. It's like early. Coffee's good. Anyway, so one of them, I spotted it online. I wished I'd written down. It's on my about. If you go to the about tab on my channel here, you'll see that I have a wish list at the bottom of the about me description. So I can't remember. I didn't write down the creator's name, which bugs me. But here we are. So let me just go ahead. One deck. I think it's an oracle deck that has been on my wish list that I can't get my hot little hands on because of the I think this one is out. It's either outrageous shipping. It's most likely outrageous shipping. When I say outrageous, I'm saying like outrageous. Now the seller is in America, and I'm aware of what it costs to ship something from America. $70 or whatever is not what it costs to ship from America to Canada. Okay? I'm just putting that out there. And I'm trying to figure out if I couldn't order this one because of the shipping, or because they weren't shipping to Canada, because we're a third world country here. Whatever. Mystic Art Medicine cards. They just seem to be my thing, and I'm thinking, oh, those would be like really, really great. They'd fill in that part of my collection where it's about earth-centered magic and spirituality, and also crosses over into the past lives readings. And the other one, I'm finally getting to the point. Sorry, people. It's like, I'm trying to wake up here. Is Daughters of the Moon. There's something. I think it's the backs of the cards that I'm a little obsessed with. I'm almost certain it's the backs of the cards that are blue. It's a big round deck. It's blue. It's got has a crescent moon on the back. Every time I see a video featuring Daughters of the Moon, the one in color, I make a sad little squeaking sound. Not because it's out of print, but because it is in print. I can, if I want, order it from the creator directly on their website. But their website quotes something outrageous like $66 shipping to Canada. I feel like I'm having a deja vu. I'm feeling like I mentioned this already on my channel. I'm not sure. I reached out to the creator. Sent an email. Hey, this $66 shipping, is this like for real? Creator has not replied back. So there's two things at play here. One, I'm a little worried. I hope they're okay. Like, I hope they're not ill. I hope they're not, that I hope they're well. And if they're well, geez, it would have been nice if they would have replied. I'm just saying. Anyway, so Daughters of the Moon remains on the wish list. I think it would be a great addition to that earth-based spirituality, but also past lives readings because of the type of cards in that deck. It's just my first impression of it. So if you have the Daughters of the Moon, you're very lucky. I wished I had it. I do have a deck that's often compared to Daughters of the Moon because apparently the Mother Piece and Daughters of the Moon were being created around the same time or that kind of thing. So I'm happy I have this. And those are the two that are, those are two decks that I'm and the third one is Devas of Creation by Scylla Conway. And that is just a pandemic situation. It's a COVID-19 situation where I went to the website thinking, okay, I'm going to order it. And they just suspended shipping for a little bit because of what's going on with the pandemic. So that's fine. So that'll be there for me when they're ready to ship again, I'll be ordering it. And I think that would be also great for past lives, especially because it's so raw in terms of imagery and Devas of Creation, right? That goes far back. Yeah. So like I'm not going to go through my whole wish list because not all of them are pertaining to this video. But those are, you know, some decks that I'm just, you know. There's the Devas of Creation. I'm just waiting for them to ship again. Oh, and the Philarcos. The Philarcos, I think they said they're shipping, so I just haven't decided. I'm not really certain if I want the Philarcos yet because I need to rewatch some videos. Because there, you know, sometimes I have a hard time when there's a lot of hype around a deck, knowing if I really want it or not. Because my first reaction is to be put off by hype. I'm turned off by hype. It turns me off from anything that I like, that suddenly there's hype around or whatever will turn me against it. It's sad, really. But I think Philarcos Tarot would be, I don't know, there's something about it, the energy of that deck, that I think would make it really great for past life readings, past lives readings. Oh my God. Now for the ones I'm going to share with you that I have. I'm going to start with a really obvious one. This is my Past Lives Oracle, Doreen Virtue and Brian Weiss. This is extremely limited, 44 cards. Very basic, barely scratching the surface of anything. Can you do a past life reading, just a past life reading with just these cards? No. Mine are in French. I've already explained in a previous video why mine are in French. It's what I could get at the time, and I'm fine. I'm fluent in French. But it's very limited, this deck. But in addition to other decks, like I wouldn't just use this for a past life reading. This would be, let's say, one card in, let's say, a grouping of multiple cards from different decks. But this is part of this grouping of cards. Another deck, and these are in no particular order. I'm just doing, I'll do the Oracle cards first. Or what? Well, let's alternate. Whatever. Okay. So that was an Oracle deck. I think the John Bauer Tarot is a deck that I feel would do really well with past lives readings. Now, there is an option for you, like if you, because the guidebook for Artistry Tarot for past lives is available on its own through Amazon, at least in Canada. Amazon Canada is there. I imagine it's on Amazon.com as well. And you could potentially use that guidebook with whatever tarot deck you have. But I think, I love this card. I love that that's the first card at the top. Anyway, I think this is a great a deck too to do past life reading. This imagery is both of a time and timeless at the same time. So, yeah, John Bauer Tarot is a tarot deck I would pull in at this point, since I have it, to do past life reading. Another deck, so we're going to alternate. I don't have as many, I don't know. I didn't count them, doesn't matter. Another deck I find, goes without saying, Vintage Wisdom, old photographs. A deck that's basically a stack of old photographs with great keywords visually for a past life reading. Sorry, that was too far. Visually for a past life reading, you know, it's incredible. There's this is a feminine deck. It's all female, but it doesn't matter because it's not the only deck I would use. So, Vintage Wisdom Oracle. Another tarot deck that I have that I think would lend itself really well to past life readings I just showed you is Mother Peace. And for the art, like, you know, for the imagery, for the artwork, mine is in order because I haven't used it in a while. So when I don't use a deck for a while, I just put it in order, and yeah, it's resting. I just think that this is the imagery on this deck again lends itself in the same manner that I imagine Daughters of the Moon would. There's imagery in this deck that just lends itself to the past life reading. So I guess the point of this video really is that, you know, sometimes we get in our head that we want to do something, like, you know, in this example, past life reading, and we think, oh, I need a specific deck to do, you know, to do past life readings. And no, like I said, I started out for 20 years. I did past lives readings with my Morgan Greer. You know what I mean? It's like now that I have a collection, that I have much to choose from. The next one is an oracle that I purchased because of the aesthetic. Is the Divine Muses Oracle by Marie Bento. Very much like Vintage Wisdom, old photograph collage, vintage photograph collage. This one's more balanced. It has male and female energy, animal energy, nature. You know what I mean? So this, I feel that both visually it lends itself to past life readings, and also the meanings in this deck. Beautiful. The next deck is a new addition to my little collection here. Or it's a newer edition. I got this, the lovely Patsy at Musings by Patsy. Mystical Musings by Patsy. Terrible. Sent this to me. And it's the Influence of the Angels Tarot. Because this deck has, it's a photo collage of existing artwork, and it includes historical figures. It's got a little bit of that art history tarot for past lives vibe. So, you know, it just lends itself to that. This is like the worst ever Eight of Cups. Look how bad how bad this collage work is. This is really bad. I'm sorry to the creator, but this one you really phoned it in. When you know, there's like, this is a wonderful deck, and that one's just freaking bad. And it's my favorite card of tarot. Favorite card in the tarot deck is the Eight of Cups. Anyway, so Influence of the Angels Tarot Guide, Tarot by Jody Boginski-Barbesi. And then I have two more. These are also recent. No, not so recent, but the Golden Wheel. Tarot of the Golden Wheel. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry. I guess he thought his name was Golden Wheel. But anyway, Tarot of the Golden Wheel. Also, I think lends itself beautifully through its imagery for past life readings. I just noticed that this one's in order too, I guess, because it's not currently in use, so it's in order. So for instance, like I have Slavic heritage, right? So I would think that if you're someone with Slavic heritage, these images might spark something for you for past lives. Or if you're drawn to this imagery and you don't have that, you know of Slavic heritage, maybe you had a past life, you know, where you were Slavic. So give this one a whirl. It's widely available. It's mass market. I think all of my are all the decks I'm featuring today mass market? Yeah, all except for one oracle, which is the Divine Muses, and this this tarot. This is a stretch tarot, and again, same kind of aesthetic as Divine Muses and Vintage Wisdom Oracle. As a matter of fact, when you look at all three of them together, you could see where the same artwork was used, but it's so different. The imagery is so different because the artist interpreted differently. So Stretch Tarot, I think, is just gorgeous. I love it. I'm so happy I finally got it. This should have been in my April favorites because I received it in April, but I forgot to include it. And yeah, this would be a deck that would definitely, this is a tarot that would definitely lend itself to past lives readings. So that's it. That was my, and you know what, I'm certain that if I looked at my, my shelves, like if I had like taken a little, and even a little more time, if I was actually awake, because it's a little early, I probably would have seen some more decks that I own that would lend themselves to past lives readings, just because my aesthetic is very, my aesthetic is vintage, my aesthetic, you know, and coupled with the fact that, you know, the kind of decks that I'm drawn to, and the fact that, like I said, I used a regular tarot deck, a Morgan Greer, for years, for decades, to do past life readings, that at this point, these are like luxury to have so many different ones to choose from. And you know, sometimes I think I want to experiment with Ted Andrews' technique of how to uncover your past lives, and then if I have the appropriate deck, I wouldn't specifically go out and buy one, but if I had the appropriate deck that represented that era, or yeah, that either represented that era or the imagery was congruent with the past life the messages of that past life, how interesting it would be to combine the Ted Andrews techniques with these decks that have quite a variety of places and time periods. So yeah, one honorable mention that's not here that I think would be great, if you have like ideas that you may have lived during the Regency era. My daughter has a tarot, a Regency era tarot deck, which I'm sorry now that I brought it up because I don't remember what it's called. So if you're watching this video, could you please comment below what your tarot deck is called? And also, I'm planning to have my daughter visit, where we live in the same house, so it's not like relax, people, relax. We live in the same house. What I mean by visit, because I know, physical distancing. No, we live in the same house, under the same roof, in the same building, in the same actual home. What I meant by visiting is have her visit my office when I'm recording, so either she can do the video on her own where she shows you her tarot and oracle collection, or we do it together where we chit chat and she shows you what she's got. So hopefully we'll get to do that sometime soon, maybe next week, next weekend. That's it. So those are the decks that do a little recap. I started with the Morgan Greer. I love this bag. Someone made this. I must have mentioned this like 100 times. I'm sorry. Someone made this bag for me 22 years ago. It's satin lined. It's held up so well. It's 22 years it's been housing the same deck. I just freaking love it. Anyway, so just a little recap. John Bauer, La Vie Passée, Past Lives, Oracle, my Stretch Tarot, Mother Peace, Vintage Wisdom Oracle, Tarot the Golden Wheel, Divine Muses Oracle, Influence of the Angels Tarot, and I believe the Mystic Art Medicine cards would be great, as well as Daughters of the Moon. Alright, that's it for me. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. I will have my April favorites up this weekend, or today sometime, whenever YouTube is, once I record it, whenever YouTube is done with it. And I'm wishing you all a beautiful day. Stay safe, and more importantly, try to stay calm. Alright, take care.